Yo, hello. Hey,
My main
what up?
man right here, Tecah One, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, a warm hello to everybody. So, yeah, I'm nice that it worked out, and then we now chilling and vibing together and have a talk about the things that we was working on.
See you guys. So I guess a good thing. I guess here we have a little bit of a studio delay here. My bad. But yeah, okay. How about Tecca? How about if you go ahead and give the people a rundown of like how you started, getting into rapping, emceeing, and all that type of stuff.
Okay, yeah, that was some days before. When I started it, maybe it started with music, not directly with rap, because I was as a young boy, I listened to the electronic stuff that my brother was going out to clubs and bringing music from the clubs, and I get involved into this, and I interested for the music. I had a lot of interest for the music, and it evolved, and so I got me my first drum computer, and I started to work on it, my sampler as a teenager, and I worked the nights on the samples. And then in the same time when I started to work on the music, yeah, I got hit by rap music, like really cool records. What was and this time it was Farsight, and then it was Freestyle Fellowship, AC Alone, Micah 9, all the great stuff. It hit me, and I saw in the evolving of my music that it would be also dope when I go in this direction. So I moved from more electronic and techno music more to hip hop, and directly became an like or started to doing, not just to listening and consuming, because in the hip hop directly took me to another place where I could move on as an artist. And I started my first raps, yeah, was recording on a sampler and just experimenting or doing loops with a tape. There was the days when I started, and it directly, yeah, I had some crews. We was building in our town things that was, yeah, it was still before YouTube. We was doing shows live directly from our MPC system, and organizing everything around in the city, and these times had some MC battles and all the stuff that is on the way to being MC.
Yeah. So do you feel like you have a preference towards like a sample-based sound because of those early beginnings working with tapes and kind of the era that you're in? Do you feel like you still are biased towards that sound, or do you feel like you're kind of evolving into getting into more of the synthy, trap, maybe bass-heavy sounds?
Yeah, well, but I think like the ground, the basic for me is the sampling. It was like my socialization, how I grew up with the sound, because the sampling is a special kind of art for me. It's a single kind of art with sampling, and I'm really like it, and I'm really into it. And on the other side, I'm open up for everything which evolves of music, and the 808, I know it for since Born to Roll, so and I always was also a fan of a nice 808s and this stuff, and I like it that it's in the modern music, that it's really came back, and yeah. But
Yeah.
how you said, it was for me also an inspiration to get in touch with you and to work, because I felt something like a connection through the kind of music that you are doing.
Yeah, because the 808, has origins early, like sampling.
Ah, yeah. course, it was not earlier than the 80s, I think. Oh, it was in the 80s.
Yeah, the type of stuff I do, kind of has like a whole range. I try to cover stuff, from, I love 70s psych rock music. I love, how the guitars meld with the synthesizers and organ sounds to kind of blend into one like wall of, ambient,
Yeah.
but like, still rich and warm sound. So like, like we'll talk about it. I think Seasons is kind of an example of that. The Zwischen then Zeiten joint, I think is, an example of that kind of sound that I go for. Reagan and Im Garten is another example of, it kind of it's like a sound that kind of builds on itself, kind of maybe more derivative of that, psych era stuff, at least in my mind. Maybe it comes out as something different. I feel like as far as like 90s drums, I kind of drifted away from just like, looping a whole break. I don't think we really have like a track on our album that's like, a break drum type of thing, you know.
Mhm.
But, nonetheless, I think I try to be a balance of both, kind of like what you were hinting towards. So
Yeah.
I guess if we want to start, you know, digging into our project a little bit more specifically now that we've kind of introduced you to the group scenario folks.
Sure.
Let's start at the top. So we have this great music video. If you guys haven't seen, definitely recommend it. I'll go ahead and start it here at the bottom of the window, but tell me about where you recorded this video and what the process was like, working with Cliff and all that on this music video.
Yeah. So we mostly of the footage is done in a forest nearby. It's I live like in the center of the town, but like 1.5 or 2 miles away is a little forest, and I know if like I spend some time there, I go for to run some miles there, or I go for a walk. It's for me a good place, to get some air and to get in touch also with the nature in there. There are some special places also, and yeah, mostly of the footage, as I told you, is done in this forest, in this little forest. And we got also some footage from the church where what is interesting, maybe where I was recording a lot of the tracks that are on the EP. Yeah, it was not directly in the church. It was I was recording the vocals in a side room of the church because the church is broke, like the roof is broke, and there are no people are meeting in this church, but some musicians can use it in the side room. And we was and the guy was that is working there. He was nice. He told me, hey, if you like, you can also take some footage in the church, and I show you the roof and where the bells are and all the things. I said, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, and Cliff is a homeboy from a city nearby, from Krefeld, and I worked on some things with him on some projects. He's also a great musician. He started like 1 or 2 years ago. He started to do also music videos, and movies. And so I asked him if he could help me out with this, and it was great. Yeah, we are both. It was not always easy. Like we are sometimes we always bumping our heads, but like real artists do sometimes, because he's got his vision and I got my vision. But it was very cool. A process where we both had the growth. We both could grow, and that was very nice because he taught me after the process. It was very good. He learned a lot of the stuff, of the technical stuff, but also he taught me, he learned a lot about himself working on this project.
Yeah, and I think that's similar to kind of like how me and you had to work. It's like you guys had the benefit of working in person, but maybe what you guys was maybe a little bit more intensive. There's with video, I feel like there's less of an ambiguity about what's wrong or right. It's like, with stuff like that. Um, with video, you want it to look good. It's gonna look cheesy if it doesn't look good. So it's the sort of thing you got to be really on point with. With music, it's like, oh, you feel like, oh, it's the style. It's bedroom. It's bedroom hip hop. And people will dig it because of that. Just because it's you doing it. And it's dope. But with video, maybe there's a little bit of an elitist culture with it, so it's a little higher stakes when you do a video, so it can be a little bit more stressful. But with you and I, I guess getting back to this track list, you know, we mentioned Falcon Feather, the title track already, but then the one that really started things off was Reagan and Garden. And do you have anything that you'd like to mention on that? Maybe around your choice of why you were looking for a song at that tempo. Did you already have a song written? Because when you presented, the song idea to me, because this all started with just us wanting to make a song together, right? So maybe we'll talk about the process of this first initial song. We'll skip and save Lock-In for later on, and talk about how Reagan in Garden was kind of like, set the tone for the project for you.
Yeah, it was. It was in fact that I had some bars ready that I really wanted to record, and that was something that was like something that I wanted to work on the next time. And as we get in touch, and I asked you, I think I asked you about your beats and the stuff, and you sent me the first beats, and that was the one that directly like matched, and it was not only from the tempo, it was also from the vibe. So that's for me, it's always a good sign and always something special. If you got because there are the three things. Maybe you can have a beat and write on it, or you have a text and somebody does a beat to it, or there's somewhere in the universe there's a beat and there are the lyrics, and then they just match together. And that was for me that one third very special thing. That was how I felt about Regen im Garten.
Yeah. So, do you feel like you prefer the process of having something pre-written before you hear a beat from a producer, or do you prefer having a beat and writing your lyrics to it? Do you have a preference between the two?
Yeah. I must say I like both, because sometimes you're just in a mood and you write something down and you like it and you want to have to do it as a track, but sometimes you get a beat and you want to just write on it. So that's all. I open up for both ways to do it. So I like also the thing when you start off with a beat and you just start to writing, So that was I've done also some a lot of the tracks are mixed. Some I on the EP I wrote. For sure, I wrote Falkenfeder. I wrote a complete Falkenfeder track on the beat, and I wrote every hook I done on the beat from you. So I evolved the hooks with the beat together. I had some ideas, but I had some ideas, some things that I want to put out, and then I did a concept around the beats, and that was how the tracks came up.
Yeah, yeah. So you kind of take like a segment or an idea, once you hear the beat, and you're like, okay, so this is kind of completes it. This is the icing on the cake, so to speak. So bouncing back, a song, a song that has a hook. A song that has a hook that I really enjoy, and I think a lot of the other people have taken a listen to the album, so far in the first few days of the release, which, by the way, everyone, automaticrecords.com, check it out. You can stream it, from Apple Music, Spotify, Bandcamp, and Tidal, all from our website. So go ahead and take a gander at what we've been working on. 7 tracks, well, it's 6 and a remix. I'd consider the remix kind of a whole other track, though. It has such a different energy, but we'll get into that. So with Lock-In, what does that mean? with some of these songs, we want to help get people to understand what the songs mean. That Americans, we don't learn a lot of languages, so you got to help us out.
Yeah, Tränen lachen. Tränen lachen is like yes, it's all about opposites. Opposites. Like Tränen lachen means to laugh tears. So when you laugh, when you are laughing so much that your tears come out, or just when you're happy, you're so happy that also your tears appear. So it's like Tränen lachen. It's something like, yeah, people say that the soul is cleared always when you cry, that the soul gets like a shower, and you get your soul gets cleared through the eyes, and it's but it's not sad or melancholic, but it's a feeling of happy clearing of happy clearing the soul. Tränen lachen. It's a little bit of the concept that stands for me behind this. The hook is also, I say Tränen lachen is the first thing that I say in the hook, and the second thing is Fehler machen. That means ein paar Fehler machen. That means it's also okay to do some I missed the word. Yeah, mistakes. Yeah, it's okay to do some mistakes. Yeah, cry. I cry some tears, or you can cry. You can laugh some tears and do some mistakes, and still be happy and good about it. Yeah, don't need to put yourself under pressure. Don't need to misjudge yourself because of things that are happening.
Right on. Well, while we mention it, why don't we give the people a little bit of the music and take a little break here? I'll play a little snippet of Training Lock-In here for all of y'all.
Deine Umgebung macht Gefühle sichtbar wie Feldlinien. Weltfrieden gibt es nicht ohne Selbstliebe. Zeitüberreif, moderne Menschen. Nein, lieber gleich Ärmel hochkrempeln. Setz die Fackel in Brand durch einen dunklen Stollen. Schatten flackern an der Wand, mein Leben interessant. Hab Dank, es ist wundervoll. Zum Glück gesund und stolz, am Grund liegt Gold. Manche sagen, Ende ist nah. Wende mich ab, bevor ich mich hochhangel am Gelände vom Dach. Steig ich dunkle Gänge hinab, finde Schwachstellen in mir, etwas nachhelfen wird. Das alte Ich macht Hass geltend, doch stirbt. Schweres Gefühl, leicht vorgetragen an mehreren Orten zur gleichen Zeit emporstrahlen. Kann unser Licht auf den Tracks, die wir bauen. Oasen in der Wüste, let's bless the crowd. Ein paar Tränen lachen, ein paar Fehler machen. Nichts mehr in mein Leben lassen, was mich auf dem Weg belastet. Nebelschwaden geh ich gerade, doch versteh ich, seh nicht alles. Ein paar Tränen lachen, ein paar Fehler machen. Nichts mehr in mein Leben lassen, was mich auf dem Weg belastet. Nebelschwaden geh ich gerade, doch versteh ich, seh nicht alles. Rede niemals schlecht von jemand, soll nicht über Gott lästern. Ich bin gut, werde ich bald noch besser, noch fresher, noch echter. Lass mich fallen wieder mal, bevor ich trotz Wetter aus dem Loch kletter.
For me, Falkenfeder is also is a spirit, you know. It's a spirit. Like somebody say, the people, or a lot of native tribes say, the people have like power animals. You know, somebody has like bear or you know, I used to love watch Marshall Braystar as I was a young kid, and that gave me some influence on that, and it's still on. So I met also some native people. Met some. I met Keith IMC, who was here in the town nearby, and we was talking about the things, and he gave me some inspiration. And you know, Falkenfeder is like the spirit of something. It's like nature spirit, and I did a lot of research also about plants and about trees. There are very interesting things that are coming up these days. You know, there was an Australian woman, a doctor, a biologist, and she was writing really interesting things about trees and plants. And Viriditas is a name for it's a very old concept, yeah, from the Middle Age. And a woman in these times started to talk about these things, and I love to do this music, and I love also I love to live on this planet, you know, and in the nature. And for me, it's important thing to always tell interesting things about that, so people open up their eyes more to it, you know, because we need it. We still got we got a lot of nice interesting things that we are evolving, and technical things, and it's all good, but it have to be in a balance, you know. And Viriditas it fits in as a special eye on the green planet, on the earth, you know, on all the plants, all the trees that are growing around us. You can meditate with the trees just in your mind. When you think, I breathe out, the tree takes it. I breathe in, I take from the tree. So we are connected. We are directly connected with the trees. I got my window open, and they are like my friends. They are warriors, you know. I got 8 trees growing outside. They are warriors. I know some things about them, but I don't want to tell too much about it. But this is maybe just some things that I share with you, so you can get an idea of what Viriditas means. And it's a mystical concept of the knowledge and the wisdom that plants got for the human. To finish this up, I always say Newton was a physically dude, and they said he invented the gravity, sitting under a tree, and then an apple hit his head, you know, and he said, I invented. I say, like, no, the tree threw the apple on him and said, bro, now you have to get it. And he threw like the apple on his head so he can get the idea. It's like it's just like a joke, but it's also transfer what I think about plants, and that we can take a lot of knowledge from them.
Yeah. So do you feel like having such a close connection to nature makes it hard to use a lot of technology when it comes to being an artist? Like, not only are we recording on electronic devices like computers or drum machines, but we're also having to promote ourselves on social media. You know, we just talked about making music videos and all that. Do you feel like all of that can distract you from your course, or do you feel like you've used technology to enhance your understanding of nature, perhaps maybe through research or you know, other techniques?
Yes, it's all about the balance, and we live in this world, and this is good. It is so great that you can do things. You can do music at home. In the 70s, there was all the stuff that are now like as a plugin or something like that. It was not affordable for a similar guy, you know. And now the possibilities are really great. It's always how in which direction do you work. And I think, yeah, I see it like it will maybe grow together, but I think there is enough place, or the human capacity have enough space for both. They can go with the technical and with all the innovation, but also they need to stay grounded with the earth and with the nature. Then it's that's the base balance, because just to say, I'm out of this world and I go to the jungle, that was not be a solution. It's just a solution for oneself, but we are living together. So it's good to share the vibe, we are putting up the frequencies. We taken this digital stuff, but we are talking the things, and the music that you done is very organic. And so we put that organic thing into the digital, and so we can, the best we can do is like hiding up the frequency, for everybody. So we share the music, and we don't, there would be not the solution for me to say, oh no, I'm just like with the nature and I don't want to mess with the things. That is, no, it belongs also to us. It is our, it's like our task to manage the things in the right balance.
Yeah. So we're going to shift gears. I mean, not that I totally hear and understand everything you're saying, but just for the sake of, we gotta, fit things into, can't talk everyone's ear off all day. I want to talk about, we talked about your upbringing as an artist, and part of what related me to you in collaboration was I've also, been a part of youth work and, spreading the message and, the ideas and the innovations of what, I learned onto the next generation. I see that as powerful as releasing my music, for, just hip hop heads. I feel like, as much of a duty as coming correct on, a rap record is coming correct in the community. So with that, I try to, stay engaged and come up with ways to, offer after school programs for the types of things that I was into as a kid that got me into the career that I'm in, and making these types of creative projects with dope artists like you. So do you want to speak upon maybe some of the work that you've been doing in Germany as far as the youth?
Yes, it's also it's also a big thing. I do a lot of projects like this because as I started to do music, I was also as a youngster, I was also taking people from the streets, and we was working on tracks, and I see just how it changed them and how it changed the way of thinking. So yeah, it just naturally evolved and developed out of it, that I always had some younger dudes or kids that was around there. First, I was recording them at home and starting to show them some things. And then as I grew up and I was older, then I started to do it professionally. So I worked with a lot of schools and youth centers, and I did some international hip-hop meetings, and evolving all own methods. I want to write some things about, because I'm also working with some researchers from the universities, because they love the topic of hip hop, and it's not always that easy. So I really appreciate it, and I have respect for them. But it's you have always to push the scene and the people. But it's a very interesting point, the university research about hip hop and all the things, and it's so much potential for me. It is necessary. It should be that there is a hip hop artist in school in Germany, in every school. It got to be, and they know now about it. They just phone me every day now. That the pandemic is getting a little quieter, so they phone me every day. Hey, yeah, but it's nothing new. I said, yeah, for sure. I take my time. I come to a school, and I work with different schools, also with children that have some issues that are in special schools, and I got my own inventions to they can work with. So it's a big topic for me. So yeah, it's one point or one of the important things in hip hop also, that maybe it's not so modern. It's not in the modern hip hop. It's not so upfront. You know, it's not so consistent. But I think it's in the underground, some kind of underground. It's worldwide that people are doing workshops for kids and for children, and that's a very interesting and important thing for our society.
Do you ever show the kids some of your raps? Have they listened to the new EP?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. They like it a lot. Some, not so many, just a few, because I got just a few, which I got the phone number and we're connecting. You know, I got a lot of groups around, but then now you got the summer vacation, and I just got some few my phone, which I always in contact, and yeah, they always get the stuff, and yeah, they like it about, and when they meet me, they yeah, they're happy about it also. And with the youngsters that are growing, I also take them on records, so they are. Maybe we got one of my students once on a Adriatic record.
Word. Like. So the next joint on the project was, you know, one of the ones we added, you know, last minute, kind of, in a sense. You know, it was going to be a bonus track for vinyl. I mean, it wasn't even in existence. We were going to do 5 songs, and that was going to be it. I was like, oh, let's do some bonus tracks. Fast forward, you know, we end up with a remix and Fatima on the record. You want to talk about the significance of that? You know, I thought maybe, hey, maybe this is like a song about a girl named Fatima. I went to, you know, school with a girl named Fatima who was, you know, cute and all that. I thought, hey, maybe this is about a girl or something, you know, not thinking at first, you know, okay, what's Tecah really going for, you know, with this one? So you want to talk about the significance of that, you know, I don't want to spoil it, you know, significance of the song title.
Yeah, but it was also a little bit meant like you say that, because it's like it can be. So no, that's with music. So even if you don't understand the lyrics or you understand the lyrics, it can also be about a girl or a woman called Fatima, you know, because there's a lot of love, I think, in the song, and it's also it's on one level it's about that, you know. And on another level, what is just like my personal thing. But when I give it out the music, then it's evolving, and it's not just about the one thing. But I can tell about my intention. Fatima is a city in Portugal. I love Portugal a lot. It's for me one of the nicest countries in Europe that I visited. There are a lot of beautiful places, but there's something special about Portugal. And I visited a lot of mystical places also there. And Fatima is a special town. Maybe if you're interested, you can just Google it and look what things happened. I had I did a trip, and the song is about the trip that I did to Fatima. I was just walking and sleeping outside and for some days and meeting people. And it was very down to earth. I had to do this trip on a special point in my life. Yeah, and I had a lot of adventures it was crazy to find me a nice place in nature where I could sleep. I had no tent, just how you call it when you lay down in a laying mat, or how you call it, you know, to sleep, when you bind it between the trees. How you call this one?
Yeah, it's said to be, you know, a magical city, a supernatural city, even to, like, you know, prehistorical times. You know, it's like kind of one of those cities that has had a lot of, you know, mystical energy surrounding it. And I think that, you know, the song has a really enchanting vibe that kind of goes with that. It's very romantic, affectionate song. I think the timbre of your voice is different on that song than maybe the whole rest of the album, in a good way. I think it's kind of that romantic, you know, pinnacle of the album. In a way, it's like the breathiness of how you're rapping, I think is very, very different compared to your solo tracks like Avatar, Walking Dead, you know, that are a lot more like pow in your face, you know, type of joints. You know, Fatima, though the beat has, you know, swagger and bounce and bass to it and all that good stuff. the timbre of your voice, I think, is what makes it. I think it has, it's just a certain affliction to your voice and the cadence of the rapping. It's a very solid track, and I'm glad it ended up on the digital version because it might take the cake as the best track, for some people.
Okay.
So
Cool.
kudos and much respect for that one, man.
Yeah, the beat made it, but the beat made it. It was the beat made it to do it in this way, and also the hook. The hook was also everything the beat made the track. Because I had it, that was a done track, like but the beat let me perform it in this way, and it's some kind like a love to a woman. It's a love to a country can be like a love to a woman. So maybe you hear that.
Yeah, it's all about coming together and making something full circle. You can't have one weak spot of a song, otherwise, you got to cut it out. Like an example of what I think of studio talk is, Kanye West recorded a lot of his album Yeezus with Rick Rubin in a small, kind of makeshift like trailer type of studio on Rick Rubin's property. And he said, well, if it's not turned all the way up, take it out. So it's like, if it's not like essential to the core of the song, it doesn't need to be in there. And, I think Fatima is one of those, even though it's in a very different vibe than Yeezus or, that type of stuff. Death Grips is maybe another group like that, where it's, everything's just like full force in front of you. It's a stripped down song, maybe in comparison to some of the other beats on the project itself. It's maybe more similar to the other bonus tracks, we'll hit you with, you guys with in a couple months. But, I think it has that sort of emphasis on the important parts, all the sweet parts. It's like, we had our main courses with the first couple meals. Now we're getting into, some desserts, with Fatima,
Yeah.
So that leads us to the remix. I hit you with a surprise. What was your first impression when you heard the remix?
I was dancing, but I was dancing with Hildegard from Bingen in my mind. Yeah, it was one of these magic moments because it hit me directly, and it was just it gave. I recorded it on the track, and we had a nice track, but with the remix, you just put it. Like that was the original, like I had, because I hear my voice, and the feeling that I got in my voice is now clear. It was not so clear on the original track. It's more like you tuned it, so the vibe is more, there's more tension to it, and it's, for me, it sounds more interesting. Yeah, and the feeling is just, some friends that were really musician nerds, they wrote me, it remind them of really classics that have been done in Germany, German rap classics, and they all said, "Wow, this feels like the time, of this classic music." So, yeah, I really love the song, and I really love the remix, and I was there. I think it was in the morning. I was just like dancing and showing to my family, "Listen, he did this remix for our EP." It was really, it was really fun moment. It was great.
Wow, man. Yeah, no, and it's funny. Fun fact about the Veriditas remix on my end, as the beatsmith or whatever you want to call me, I guess, would be that was, a beat that I had made in 2015, and it was supposed to be on an MC named Radio Ali's project, who's dope, a friend of mine, a childhood friend. And yeah, long story, he ended up using just one producer for his project, so then the couple tracks like mine that other producers used didn't make the cut. Long story short, it's kind of, one of those beats that kind of sat around. And then I, recently was going through my files, probably around the time we were working on our first tracks. And, I changed some of the synth sounds and slowed it down a bit. And it kind of opened up a new swing to the song, added those claps in to kind of, make it sound natural. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then, it ended up coincidentally kind of being in the same, I think it was already the same tempo of Veriditas once I changed it just coincidentally. And then it just, yeah, I didn't have to change anything about it. I didn't pitch it up or down or anything. That's just how it was, other than the, you know, coincidental slowdown I did before. But you know, let's go ahead and give people a little snippet of that one, because I feel like it's a sleeper track, but I don't want people to, you know, forget this remix, because I think it's, you know, an important, you know, cornerstone to the project. And then when we come back, we'll, you know, wrap things up, talk about the closing track, and, you know, what we have coming forward.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Wende dein Blick ab, wisse die Wege und geh, wenn der Steintischler einen Megalith trägt. Feine Risse in deiner Realität. Viriditas, Viriditas. Die Scheibe splittert, bis scheinbar jemand sie klebt. Viriditas, Viriditas. Wende dein Blick ab, wisse die Wege und geh, wenn der Steintischler einen Megalith trägt. Gesänge von Wahlen, Wolkenschiffe, Polarlichterfarben. Als Mensch im All folge ich der Solaris-Sternkarte. Zentrifugal im goldenen Schnitt botanische Arten. Unendliche Zahlenfolge, Fibonacci-Merkmale. Eindimensionale Rapper wollen hart klingen. Ich erzähle von Vision wie Hildegard von Bing. Im Garten sind noch unbestimmte Arten drin. Sein Atemwind, mein Track, sein Marketing. Brecht die Mauer im Kopf, wie viele Nächte dauert es noch, bis der Rest ist check, die Power ist da. Wozu ich zwischen Lines verstecke, hab genauer gesagt, für Time Passenger like Tecah One. Es ist so einfach, dass es fast nicht sein kann. Genau vor deinen Augen baue ich einen Geheimgang. Wirklichkeit wirbelt dann hinein wie Treibsand. Wir Leute scheinbar träumende Geister. Wende dein Blick ab, wisse die Wege und geh, wenn der Steintischler einen Megalith trägt. Feine Risse in deiner Realität. Viriditas, Viriditas. Die Scheibe splittert, bis scheinbar jemand sie klebt. Viriditas, Viriditas. Wende dein Blick ab, wisse die Wege und geh, wenn der Steintischler einen Megalith trägt.
All right, so that was a little, you know, snippet of Viriditas. You know, I think it became a very important song for both of us throughout the project. I think it reignited some energy between us, you know, creatively. Maybe it, you know, subconsciously gave me a little bit more confidence in, you know, the sound I was going for on this project. Maybe it, you know, gave you a new interpretation of your voice. It was a different way of us working together, because the other tracks, you know, I had the beats and you know, you added the lyrics. Then after, this was kind of the other way around. You know, I think it was a cool cornerstone, a turning point maybe is a better way of putting it for us on the project creatively, and just like, you know, as a tandem or whatever in the studio. You know, and then from that track, you know, we had Zwischen den Jahreszeiten, which, you know, means between the seasons. And, you know, I butcher all of our song names, and Tomek just, you know, just nods his head and was like, yeah, I know which one you're talking about. So do you want to give some insight on what you were going for with that song? Did you have it in mind as the ending song already, perhaps? Was it thematically a bridge to something else, maybe? If you want to talk about, yeah, how the Falkenfeder journey is going to go from this point on, and how this last song kind of relates to that.
Yes, as the title of the track says, it's like between the seasons, and between the seasons and something like it's no time. It's like a dream time, or so it's a time where everything can happen, where everything can be changed. It was in the past, and everything can be prepared for the future. So I had it not in mind as a last track, but it was, as we produced it, and when I listened to it, it's got for me something nice to go out with a vibe, because it closes up and it opens up. One thing, it closed some things, and some things get open through this track. Yeah, and I just talking something of my from my life on it, and yeah, the vibe the hook is also inspired by the beat that you sent, and it fits together because I'm also talking. There's a line like in the hook. There's a line that says, "Do not argue with the crows," and it fits totally in it. Do not fight with the crows. And maybe the falcons have to take care of the crows because they want to put them always in place. So it also was the thing that was combining everything, because it's a story about like what happens in between the seasons and all the things that are passing, and we year by year we go, and we have a lot of experience. And it's also not about when I'm convinced and I say it, but tomorrow I don't need to be convinced about that. It's also about that, because I have my principles and things, but things change always. And that's also something that I learn maybe also more from the plants. They grow and they're organic. They don't stay the same. Also, they grow where they are. So no matter which situation we're in, we can grow and we can be happy, no matter. And we can change things to have a good life. So that's something for me, like in between the seasons.
Yeah, it's another coincidence, I guess, between us is like, as a child, I loved Legos, like, the little blocks that connect. And instead of like making like people or action figures or superheroes with them, I'd build cities, and instead of people, it's like the citizens were Lego birds. So it's like, they'd all have bird personas and stuff, even though they do like human-like things. So it's like I've always had an affinity for birds in that respect. I did a raptor rehabilitation camp growing up as well. So yeah, birds were definitely like, something that I've always liked. I had a pet bird for probably 4 years there, and then gave it to a family friend when I moved away. And yeah, no, so it's a lot of cool coincidences that kind of came up out of the blue. So I mean, I'm thankful for the fact that you reached out to me and wanted to work on some songs. You heard the Runaround, I believe, from me and Micah's joint, and that was a big song for me, a big project in general. Some like just the platform that was able to get me on, I'm really thankful, and just being able to meet cool creative people like you from across the world is a great benefit. And there's some, even though it's it's the web connecting us, there's still something natural about the the telepathic connection maybe creatively of it. So I think it still resulted in a cool organic vibe. I think the album artwork by the homie Grant, aka Gadzooks Bazooka, kind of matches that hand drawn, that hand felt vibe. You know what I mean? Where it has structure, but it's still human. It's thought out, but it's still humanized. And the imperfections are okay because that's life. That's what music is. And I think we made a really cool project, 7 songs, and we got a couple more on deck. Do you have anything else planned for the rest of this calendar year?
Yeah, I think we talked about some plans also, for the you mean also the with the bonus tracks, no, or around that. We still, we are working together, and I'm working with Django from London. So we got some tracks also that have to be finished, and I want to drop them. But for now it's like Falkenfeder time, and we got some nice bonus tracks with some features. And I'm really looking forward to drop also these things. Maybe we do another visual. That would be dope. That are like the plans for the next month.
How about in your personal life? Any travels? I think a lot of this project was related to travels you had done. Do you have any other traveling ambitions? parts of the world you want to see soon?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of places, but yeah, as we talk, it would be dope to finally visit the States, because I got some friends around there, and would be also cool to work, maybe do a track like in live and when we see each other. But also, yeah, like Northern America, and also Mexico would be cool. But yeah, it's always cool when you can put things together. And I'm working like on projects, or maybe go with the music to play a show in a different place, in another place. For now, I got no special I just, because I got a little son, and for now it's when I was visiting a lot of different places. Now I visiting the best playgrounds. I'm looking around where's the best playground, and we go by bike, or we go by train, and I just look where's the best playgrounds and what kind of nature's in the near. So we combine that. I do a lot of trips also in my around my city. I know all the. So when you once visit me, I will show you some. I know all. I'm specialist. I have to tell you about all the mystical and deep places around me. Also in Europe, I know a lot of Europe. I visited a lot of places of Europe, but around me and Germany, and especially in the state, North Rhine-Westphalia, I know every place in the near, and springs and mountains and caves, and yeah, we can do one. We can do also a travel thing, with me. Yeah, one thing that I planned always, I know some caves where we can play music, so maybe we can once in the future we can do like a tour in some caves, with some sound systems. There are some professional sound system in the caves, but we can also take some underground caves, where we just meet with like a bunch of people and have the outdoor battery for music and the stuff. So that's my plans for the next days. And in 2022, I hopefully also then my kid is also bigger, and then I take him also on the plane, maybe,
Yeah, no, that would be fun. I got my homie Andre in the Netherlands doing big things with the tours. I've always wanted to do shows in Europe. I've gone on a couple of tours with my group Shootout back in the day, but me and Micah's thing as far as a tour got put on hold with my knee surgery, and then we had the COVID pandemic when our EP came out. So I'm excited to finally get the decks out somewhere. Not that I haven't been enjoying the whole groove scenario thing, guys, but it would be great to go outside and play some gigs outside. So I'm excited for the resolution to the COVID thing. Hopefully will manifest itself in the nearest times. You mentioned some shout outs and things like that. Is there anything you maybe want to mention as we want to wrap this up? We're kind of closing in, or just crossed over an hour now. Is there anything else or anyone else you want to give a shout out to in regards to the project, or just Tecah One in general?
Yeah, I would also say a big thank to Volker from the church, who gave me the possibility to have access to this place, because it was just about trust. And he looked at me and said, why not, brother? Here's the key. And I can just, in the night, I can go over and record the whole night, so my family can sleep. I don't need to go to a studio, which is always... you need other people to meet them, so I can record her. So special thanks to Volker, and everybody on my way that I was making music. There are so many people, so there would be too much time to tell every name, but the people know I got a lot of love for the things that I learned from you, from all you guys, and from the people that I was doing music together, and from the people that I met. So, shout out and big love.
Yeah, similar to me, friends, family, everyone helping me out, from since '06 and on. I've been doing music for a minute now. professionally maybe since 2012 or whatever. But yeah, so big shout out to everyone who's, remembers those first CDs I used to press up, and they had some terrible songs on them that me and Reed used to make, all the way up until Dope Stuff, me and, Tecah One, me and Micah 9, me and Buku, all that good stuff. Me and Jada, all the good stuff I got, coming out, appreciate everyone who's stuck through the process, So, yeah, man, and thanks to you for dealing with my first video guest experience here on Groove Scenario and all that. And shout out to the audience and listeners, across YouTube, Twitch, Mixcloud. You can find us groovescenario.com, automaticrecords.com/groove-scenario as well, to find out, what we're doing with events and all that good stuff, other guests we might have on the show, talking music, talking, beat life, DJ life, all that good stuff. So Tecah One, thank you again.
Yeah, thanks also. Thanks for having me on the show, and thanks for everybody to listen and enjoys our projects. And yeah, I'm looking forward for the next steps. So it's a great time. It's a great time to make music with you, and it's a great time for producing music now. Even when we can go on stage directly, but it's a good time to evolve new projects. I'm looking forward to the future. I have a good feeling, that we made and rock some nice shows. Okay, B.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I think I think this was a great chance for us to break the ice on the project. I hope we get a dope interviewer to come in and pick up the pieces where we can delve more into some of the lyrics line by line, that type of thing, maybe in a later episode or all that. So I think this was a great starting point. But yeah, man, go and check out Falkenfeder, automaticrecords.com. It's up there. Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, Amazon, MySpace even. Go and find it. YouTube. However you guys want to listen to it, feel free to enjoy it, man. Have a good one. Have a great day, everyone.
Have a great day.
Wir tauchen ein in das Sternlicht, Namaste. Von draußen scheint die Erde gechillt, was geht? Lieber im Trockenheim mit mehr. Die Ängste nagen, hängst am Nabel, Mutter Erde schenkt